Father, we are looking at such a critical time. Our Blessed Mother had made it clear in Fatima in 1917 by making the statement, right when the Bolshevik revolutions were about to begin, October of 1917, I believe. And of the 125 estimated, I think, million Russians, if I read this correctly, that were in Russia at the time, there were only about 15,000 Bolsheviks estimated that kind of kicked that off with their
Nice.
violence and their tyranny and their
Yep.
threats. So it does not take a
The more
large number of
passionate.
people to
Right.
create these problems. But Our Lady, it would seem to be clear from heaven that Our Lady is the antidote, is the problem solver of communism. I just want to make this plea to the world who's listening, whoever is on this podcast, and ask your thought and your comment on this about the importance of every single Catholic doing what Mary said. And she said, if you just do what I tell you, you
Yeah.
can bring peace to the world and avert war. Pray the rosary and make the 5 First Saturday devotion a
Ah,
central part of who you are. Can you talk about some of
yeah,
that?
and that's what we Mirror Fathers have been promoting for over 6 years now. See, a lot of people, the argument was Russia wasn't consecrated. Yes, Russia was consecrated. No, Russia wasn't
Right,
consecrated.
right.
And they go back. Here's an interesting fact, Father. You talked about Saint Leo the third, or Pope Leo the 13th,
Yep.
and that Saint Michael prayer. Do you know when that happened? 1884.
Right.
100 years exactly later in 1984. Not only did the Detroit Tigers win the World Series,
Ah.
Sign from
but
heaven.
but yeah, hell froze over actually. But what was most important was
Was
John.
that Barry Sanders?
Yeah, no, that's the Tigers, or that was the Lions, but this is
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
Tigers. But anyway, he said that Pope Leo, that he overheard that conversation, as you pointed out, and that Christ gave 100 years. It was 100 years exactly that John Paul consecrated. Now, yes, there was an argument that he didn't specifically mention Russia. So the question was, is Russia consecrated? But then Pope Francis in 2022 on the Feast of the Annunciation consecrated, remember, Russia and Ukraine. So the church has stated that Russia has been consecrated. Now, here's the giant question. Then why haven't we seen Russia converted? Why isn't Russia stopped spreading her errors? Why is this continuing to get worse? And the answer, I'm convinced, is because there was two parts of that request from Mary. Mary gave the message from heaven, and she made it very clear that two things needed to happen, not just one. First was the consecration of Russia, but the second was that we do the first Saturday devotions. And so few places are doing the first Saturdays, and we are trying so hard. I remember talking about it with you guys on this very show, the importance of first Saturdays. And that's where Our Lady is instrumental, because she brought to us why we do the first Saturdays. So for all of you listening, please remember, for the first Saturday of the month for 5 consecutive months, okay, go to confession, receive Holy Communion, pray the rosary, and meditate on one or more of the mysteries for a quarter of an hour, so 15 minutes. And then you offer that in reparation of the blasphemies against the Immaculate Heart of Mary, blasphemies against her Immaculate Conception, blasphemies against her divine maternity, blasphemy against her perpetual virginity, blasphemies against her images and statues, and blasphemies that were created by teaching little children hatred of our Blessed Mother. So on 5 First Saturdays, we need to make reparation to the Immaculate Heart of Mary for those blasphemies. And so few people, even priests, are never talking about this. So I'm so glad you guys just brought it up. I personally believe it's the key. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And that's why we keep doing it.
Well, elections aren't cutting it.
Yeah.
That's a piece, but that's after the conversion of the heart and the soul.
Yep.
The election's okay, but we've shown that, voting in a president like President Trump or whoever you bring in, the communists, the socialists, the Marxists are still moving forward relentlessly. We have got to understand that Mary made it clear what the plan was
Yeah.
and is still to this day.